Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 206.
On Now You Know.
We're brought to you, as always, by our amazing Patreon patrons. This show can't happen without our patrons because there just isn't enough YouTube ad revenue to support editing for an entire 1-hour show that comes out every week. We're essentially working on a shoestring budget for something that normally would take thousands and thousands of dollars to do, and we can't do it without our Patreons. So when I was in college, I spent thousands of dollars on textbooks. And a lot of people said I'd never use those textbooks again. But they were wrong. I used them to elevate my computer monitor.
We are sponsored by Brilliant.org, a better way to learn, and here's why. When you read from a textbook...
Wait, read from a textbook? I mean, are you crazy? I thought it was a sleep aid.
Yeah, with a textbook, it's easy to think that you ingested some new information, but I find that unless I actually quiz myself, I'm not sure what I actually retained.
And yeah, textbooks have chapter quizzes, and what are you going to do? Flip to the back of the book, check the answers, and what if you get it wrong? What if you don't understand something?
And that's where Brilliant does a brilliant job. As you learn something new, you're quizzed in a fun way, and if you don't get it right, they explain it in a different way.
So for a fraction of what you'd spend on just textbooks,
and without killing any trees,
you can learn about everything from solar energy to calculus, from basic physics to quantum computing.
You can support our channel and learn more about Brilliant.org by going to Brilliant.org/nowyouknow and sign up for free.
And also, the first 200 people that go to that link will get 20% off the annual premium subscription.
And we're brought to you by Battery Hookup, the best place for all your DIY lithium battery needs. Don't get ripped off. Get hooked up. Now You Know viewers get 10% off by using the code NOW at batteryhookup.com.
And we're brought to you by ecoware.us. We have new designs every week, and we carbon offset the manufacturing, the shipping, and the life cycle of your purchase, and we plant a tree for every order. So basically everything you order off of ecoware.us is carbon negative.
Okay, so what happened? Tesla announced last Tuesday that the Tesla board had approved a 5-for-1 stock split of Tesla common stock in the form of a stock dividend to make stock ownership more accessible to employees and investors.
Yeah, it stinks. Now my stocks are worth a fifth of what they were,
What are you talking? Everyone was so excited. Why are you bummed?
Because I own like 7 shares or something, and now it's worth a fifth of what it was.
That's not how stock split works.
Okay, what do you mean?
Okay, so each stockholder of record from August 21st will receive a dividend of 4 additional shares for each then held share to be distributed after the close of trade on August 28th.
Wait, so I just quintupled my shares. I've got 5 times the shares that I had before.
You do?
Woo! I'm rich. I gotta call the Rich People Store. Hi, Rich People Store. I want a Rich People watch. Can I have a Rich People watch, please?
Excuse me. You're not rich. You have 5 times more of the shares.
Yeah.
But they're worth 1/5 of what they were, so it's all equal.
Oh, so I'm just back to where I was.
Right. So don't be bummed. Don't be too excited. It's just a stock split, which is a normal thing that companies do from time to time.
Can I cancel that expensive Rich People watch? Thank you.
But like you, a lot of people did get excited, and Tesla's stock jumped 8% last week on the news.
Why? Why would that make any difference? If it's all the same, who cares?
Well, there's a psychological effect, which is instead of being $1,500 a share, if it's $300 a share, a lot of people feel like, oh, well, now I can afford to buy stock in the company.
Right. And some people have been saying, you could always buy fractional shares. Who cares? Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to vote on those fractional shares.
True.
I mean, maybe you could do fractional voting, but it just didn't feel quite as right.
Yeah.
Now you can actually own those shares completely yourself.
Back in the day, you had to buy 100 shares at a time. It was called a lot.
So you had to buy...
You had to buy a lot of shares.
So it would have been pretty hard to buy Tesla shares because it...
Yeah.
So you'd have to buy 100 shares?
Yeah.
So you'd have to be a rich person to buy.
Yeah.
I can buy 1 share of Tesla stock if I want to. I could buy 1 share of anything.
You can buy a fractional share.
But
back in the day, it was a rich person's game. All right, so Lucid announced last week that their upcoming Lucid Air has an estimated EPA range of 517 miles.
The EPA rated this car? It isn't even out yet.
Well, let's back up a second here. Lucid said they had the car independently tested at FEV North America in Michigan, and they followed the official EPA standard testing procedure.
Oh, all right. So, I mean, if they're right, that would be the longest range of a production EV to date. This is awesome. So how do they do this?
Well, CEO Peter Rawlinson said, I believe that our 900-volt architecture, our race-proven battery packs, miniaturized motors and power electronics, integrated transmission systems, aerodynamics, chassis and thermal systems, software, and overall system efficiency have now reached a stage where they collectively set a new standard and deliver a host of world firsts.
Cool. So when can we actually buy this car?
Well, the production Lucid Air will be unveiled on September 9th.
Awesome. So, I mean, this is really good news because for the longest time, it's always been Tesla at the very tippity top, and no one has ever been able to challenge them.
Well, Porsche kind of did.
With range?
Not with, well, no, with speed. They got them on speed.
I think that range is a really important number for a lot of different people.
It is.
And I mean, I think that Tesla has gotten to the point where once you're above 400 miles, it doesn't really matter too much.
Right.
But I think, being able to top Tesla like this is great. Now, Lucid hasn't made any cars that people can buy. So that's definitely, it's of course an order of magnitude harder, as Elon says, to produce a car. But I'm just glad that there is any company at all that is willing to step up to Tesla and actually play their game.
I agree.
That's really nice.
So last week we talked about Tesla's car wrapping service in China. Well, this week, Tesla has just set up their own insurance service.
Sweet. So our Chinese viewers can go sign up for Tesla insurance.
Well, not so fast. They literally set up the company on August 6th. Someone just so happened to find it on the National Enterprise Credit Information Publicity System of China. So it's not set up yet.
I see. So they just kind of made the company for it. But we know ahead of time that that's what Tesla's thinking.
Yes.
And this is pretty smart for Tesla.
Really smart.
Everyone's like, why are they coming to my state? Why is it only California? Well, there's a lot of regulations in those states, and Tesla has to deal with 50 states if they're dealing with the United States. If they're dealing with China, they just have to deal with China. And China likes Tesla. That's a pretty well-known thing at this point. So let's talk about what this could mean, because I would imagine that there'd be less regulation in China for their insurance.
Maybe.
And so maybe that could mean that they would do a little bit more stuff that Americans wouldn't like.
Like what?
Well, I mean, since the cars know everything about everything at all points in time, it can gather data on how you drive. And so if you're a really good driver, they will know, hey, this person's a really good driver. There's no need to charge them a high premium because this person is a good driver. And we know that because they are a good driver. And then if one day you got the wild spirit of driving recklessly in your heart, your insurance premium would go up immediately. If you were suddenly driving like a maniac, they'd go, hey, this guy's driving like a maniac. Insurance premium goes up.
So kind of like you could have a little gauge on your screen that would be like, whoa, watch it, buddy. You're driving like a maniac. Your rate's going up today.
Yeah. I think that it would be smart for Tesla to test this out in China, where there's a little bit less regulation, because I'm imagining, when you get to the United States and people go like, whoa, I don't want you taking my data. I didn't agree to this. I didn't sign up for this. Although they did. It's a little trickier. I think doing it in China is a smart first step.
Now, what about this?
Yeah.
What about if different places in China, let's say, Main Street in a Chinese city is more dangerous than, say, a rural street? What if you're driving down that street, they get to charge you more because you're more likely to get into an accident?
It's true. I mean, the car itself could not only be seeing how good a driver you were, it could be seeing how good drivers were around you.
Oh, and pedestrians and bikes.
Exactly. So using the cameras, they could detect, like, you're driving on a very busy street. They could even say you're driving next to a bunch of really scary drivers. So maybe you need to be a little bit better at avoiding these really terrible, drivers out on the road, or choose different routes that are going to, save you money, both in your insurance premium and the fact that you're probably going to be less likely to get into an accident if you avoid certain roads at certain times.
So that's kind of like if I'm driving in Maine, I'm much less likely to get into an accident just because there's less people to hit and things to hit versus, say, downtown New York.
Right. Yeah. If you're in Maine, you're more likely to hit a moose than you are another car.
I mean, I know that right now with insurance companies, they can charge you more for theft insurance because obviously New York, you're more likely to have your car stolen than, say, Maine. Mm-hmm. But I don't think they can charge you more for say, bad driving around you.
So this might allow Tesla to do a lot of testing in China and figure out like the best, because normally actuarials are super boring. We would just be falling asleep thinking about like, well, if they deliver, you'd fall asleep. But because this is really new type of insurance, they could kind of work out all the details in China, then bring it to the United States and work through the regulations and see like, okay, what can we try and accomplish and what can't we? So Elon responded to Whole Mars Catalog on Twitter. Whole Mars Catalog said, the single-piece casting machine for Model Y has been installed in Fremont, Shanghai, and Berlin and will use single-piece casting. And Elon said, will be amazing to see it in operation. Biggest casting machine ever made. Will make rear body in a single piece, including crash rails.
Wait, so that's Fremont factory,
Yep.
and that's the giant press being installed behind the factory?
Yeah, I don't know if they want everyone to be able to see it, to be like,
Behold, the mammoth Giga-Press!
I think it's because they can't fit it in the building.
it does
Look,
look like
it's taller than the building.
it looks like it's taller than the building. That's insane.
I feel like one of the interns screwed up, and they're like,
I think it'll fit, Mr. Musk. I thought it would fit, but I was using meters instead of feet. Am I fired?
And then Elon's probably like, oh, no problem.
it's fine. We'll just
we do
build
this all the time.
a thing around it."
We just build a tent. That's great.
So, well,
Do you
let's
think
just talk about...
that the building is going to encapsulate this, or you think they're just going to leave it outside in this like tent-like
I
structure?
guess you just leave it out. I mean, they've had whole production lines under
Okay,
tents.
challenge.
Okay.
We've got Jeff and Joe out in Gigafactory, Texas. We've got our buddies, the Wolfpack brothers in Berlin. If you live near Fremont and you have a drone, you need to get some cool footage of this.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but let's talk about this for a second. Including the crash rails. So Sandy Munro, kind of showed off the Model Y's rear castings.
Oh, right. That's right here.
And the impressive part was that they had taken about like 70 pieces, combined them into one big cast piece of aluminum, and that there were two of them in the rear. And then he's conjecturing that there could be the whole rear is done with a casting. This is what he was talking about, including the crash rails. So,
But I thought we're talking years from now.
no, with Tesla, it's just a matter of like weeks. I don't know how they can work this fast, but they do. So let's take a look. So the crash rails are those things in the back that kind of stick out.
So that's going to be cast too?
That's going to be cast too. I didn't know you could do that.
Wow.
But apparently you can, and they're going to do that. So that's
I need to
awesome.
see this in action.
This,
You mean molten aluminum's going to be poured into this thing?
yeah,
And
shot
just,
into it.
And
Yeah.
then ka-chunk, it's going to spit it out?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. This is so
Yeah.
cool. So I got a couple emails this week from destinations. These are places like restaurants and businesses that have Tesla's destination charging stations.
And to be clear, these charging stations are either Gen 1 or Gen 2 Tesla high-power wall chargers or Tesla wall connectors that many of us have at home, for instance.
Right. One of our highest viewed videos, in fact, is us installing one of these high power wall chargers. So these owners of destination chargers got an email from Tesla saying that they've released a new version of the Tesla high power wall charger.
But we've covered this like months ago. Like there's been, with the glass front and it,
Yep.
it's new.
But we didn't know about these features. So in the email, Tesla said that there are these three features that the high power wall charger Gen 3 will offer. First, reporting. See how often and how much charging happens at your property. Second, remote diagnostics. Firmware updates and fixes, service alerts for repairs as needed. Thirdly, reimbursement. Opt in to charge users a fair price for the electricity they use when charging.
So this is a big deal. I mean, let's kind of parse this out, because if you're not someone who like owns a business that has a charger out front, you might not understand the significance of this.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously having detailed reporting is awesome for businesses. You can now see where most of your customers or employees are charging and how much, juice they're using. That's great.
Right. Now, remote diagnostics sounds kind of boring, but it means that Tesla could know immediately when a charger is broken and begin the repair process, as opposed to waiting for 8 cars to complain to management that the system is broken. And Tesla can pull it off their map. So right now, a lot of level 2 chargers, I'm looking at you, ChargePoint, will have broken chargers, but they don't say on the map this charger is broken unless people have visited there and said this charger is broken. And it usually takes 2 or 3 people to report on it before they actually believe it, because they don't have any of this diagnostic reporting.
Yeah, imagine you're driving along and it shows you that, stall number 2 at the destination charger isn't working, so you know ahead of time.
Right. Now, this doesn't necessarily directly benefit the business owner. I mean, it kind of does, but it mostly benefits the drivers.
True. But here's the big one, in my opinion, reimbursement. I think this is a huge one. It means that businesses can now bill Tesla drivers a fair price for the electricity they use. So here's some implications, right? Okay, so if you're a business and you have the chargers installed for your employees, but you're tired of other people using them, you can just lock them out.
Now, this isn't explicitly put in the features that Tesla has given out, but if they have the ability to charge you based on your car without any kind of credit card reader anywhere on it, then they're using the same system as the superchargers, which means that they know that it's your car, which means that they should be able to prevent certain cars from charging there or prevent all but a few Teslas from charging there. This also means that businesses don't have to worry about people plugging in and soaking up all of this electricity that the business has to pay for.
Right. I mean, so they can now charge a fair price, which means that they can allow for higher kilowatts or higher speed. So imagine I'm a business and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to limit this to a 6 kilowatt charge because I'm getting charged for all the electricity.
Right.
Well, if I can charge you, the Tesla owner, I can now be like, oh, you know what? I could pump in 40 kilowatts.
And this is a huge advantage for, again, the drivers, because while they are paying for the electricity, it's something that they're used to doing anyway. And this would incentivize businesses to have better, higher powered chargers, because that's going to entice the Tesla owners to park and charge there.
Some other conjectures here. It could mean that you'd be allowed to make a profit off of these. A small profit, but a profit, which would mean maybe there's an incentive for businesses to install more of them.
Right. And I think that it's really great that Tesla said a fair price for electricity. There have been some charge points, I'm not going to point to any in particular, where it charges an exorbitant rate, either by the minute or by the something. And at a certain point, it starts to charge you, $15 a minute. And it's like, whoa, this is ridiculous.
You know what? There's a bunch of other implications from this, and it's going to take too long to go into because I'm thinking VPP and VDG. So let's talk about this on Patreon Bonus Story.
That's a great idea.
In a recent Teslarati story about the Tesla Powerwall, they report on third-party installers who say that supplies of the Powerwall seem to be running low, with some installers being told that they won't get more until 2021.
So some are conjecturing that this means that Tesla will be coming out with a new version, maybe announced at Battery Day. So a new Powerwall.
Yeah, Elon tweeted, Tesla team is working hard on increasing Powerwall production. I think if you parse this, he's not lying if they are working on a new Powerwall.
Right.
So it could just be that they're just, got such back order that they haven't been able to keep up. Or it could mean that on Battery Day, they're going to announce some kind of, million-mile battery in there, or maybe they're switching to different chemistry, or V to G.
Right, because if the Powerwalls that they're putting in now don't have the capability to be the inverter for V to G for your car to, DC charge your battery and then have the inverter, connected to your house instead of carting it around in your car, that would be a great time to change it out. Also, a new chemistry. I mean, right now they're using very similar chemistries to what are in the cars themselves. Mm-hmm. They don't need to do that.
No, I mean, lithium iron phosphate kind of makes more sense. It's safer. It has a lower energy density, but it doesn't really matter because you're not driving it around in a car.
Right.
So yeah, I think there's something afoot.
Well, and especially with switching to a different chemistry, and this could mean that they're actually saving batteries, the NMC batteries, the ones that really go well in the car, for the cars, and not wasting them on Powerwalls, which don't need to have all the, high energy density.
Good point. All right, so back in February, Car and Driver tested a Model S performance versus a Porsche Taycan Turbo S, and the Taycan bested the Model S with 0 to 60 times of 2.4 versus 2.5 seconds for the Model S.
But also, after the first couple runs, the 0 to 60 times of the Model S slowed down significantly.
But now, Car and Driver took the same Model S performance with the new Cheetah mode, and they retested it. And now Car and Driver says, across all 15 runs, the average time in both metrics dropped by a massive 2 seconds compared to our previous test. That's a staggering gain in performance from twiddling a few lines of code. And we continue to marvel at the breadth and depth of the changes Tesla is making with its continual software updates.
So the same Model S that got a 2.5 second 0 to 60 got a 2.4 second 0 to 60 and was able to maintain that over multiple runs back to back.
Yeah.
They didn't go in and change out the battery pack or the motor or the cooling system. This was all code-based stuff. So this is just some cheat codes that you install into your car. They have a special cheats that they put into the cars.
I'm calling it Cheetah code.
I mean, that's insane.
And then Elon tweeted, more software improvements coming. So that's not even the end of it.
Right. And
You can't do that in a Porsche.
Again, this is the strength of Tesla. They've had software updates from day one, and they have been making some hardware updates, but those are much less regular than the software updates that improve pretty much everyone's car all the time, which is just amazing.
So we just reviewed the UNAGI Model 1 e-scooter on our sister channel, Now Let's Review.
It's a really slick-looking scooter with tons of custom color options. And UNAGI is offering an e-scooter rental program starting in New York City and Los Angeles, where you can rent a UNAGI scooter for as little as a one-time $50 startup fee and then as low as $34 a month, which includes insurance if you need repairs.
So that's a big question here is, would you rent a $1,000 scooter for basically $34 a month?
Yeah, that pretty much makes total sense.
I mean, because then, oh, and by the way, with this program, you can stop at any time. So like after a few months, if you're like, you know what, I don't really need this, you can just be like, okay, I'm done with it.
I mean, that first month, you're probably paying $84 for an e-scooter that would probably cost $1,000. That's pretty smart.
You should go check out the review we did on Now Let's Review, but it's actually one of the coolest looking, like best designed scooters that we've seen.
Yeah. So Nikola is making an electric garbage truck.
Wait, I thought they still had a semi-truck and a pickup truck to make.
Yeah, but the stock rallied 22% on Monday after it was announced that they will be making 2,500 garbage trucks for Republic Services, a solid waste management company.
This is awesome. So they'll basically make whatever you want. I mean, you want garbage trucks? Bam! Semis? Bam! Pickup? Bam! There's nothing this company can't claim to produce.
Exactly.
Bam!
I want an electric plane.
Bam! What else do you want?
Electric snowmobile.
Bam!
Electric snowblower.
Bam!
Wow, this is awesome. I love companies like this who just will say that they'll make anything.
Yeah.
It's great.
Have they made the factory yet?
Well, speaking of factories.
Yes.
Our friends Robert.
Ones that are actually being built, you mean?
Yeah. Big thanks to Robert and Andreas from the Wolfpack Berlin YouTube channel for sending us this update on Giga Berlin.
Hello everybody, we are Andreas and Robert from the Wolfpack Berlin. Today we are back at the construction site of Tesla Giga Berlin. A lot has happened in the last week, and what exactly we will show you now.
Here you can see an overview from the south side. The drive unit already has the first walls and get a roof. The work at Body in White is also very advanced. Two pile drivers wait to begin their work at the stamping. The casting no longer needs a pile foundation. This reduces the construction costs and speeds up the work on site. The switchyard already has its foundation.
Great progress, right? We hope you enjoyed it. And now back to Zach and Jesse. Bye. Bye.
Those guys rock. You definitely have to go check out their YouTube channel for updated drone shots of Giga Berlin.
Man, I'm feeling in a Gigafactory mood. I'm still,
All right.
That's whetted my appetite. I want
But
some
you would
more,
like an entree?
some more Giga stuff.
All right. Well, if you'd like some more Giga, let's head over to Giga Texas.
Hey Zach and Jesse, it's Jeff Roberts out here in Austin, Texas at the Tesla Texas Terrafactory, or Giga Austin, or Giga Texas, or Terrafactory Texas, Texas Terrafactory, Gigafactory 5, Terrafactory 1, no matter what you call it, this place is huge! 2,100 acres of manufacturing potential, and what you see behind me is only the first 300 acres that's being developed, only 1/7 of the entire property. And right now, you can check it out with me. If you hop in the time traveling machine and go back just 3 weeks, we can take a look at this Texan terrain before Tesla touched it. Thank you, Texas Terrafactory, for this epic footage of the Austin Terrafactory site. This land, located southeast of Austin off State Highway 130 and Harold Green Road, was a sand and gravel mine previously and had been largely ignored until in July 2020, Elon closed the deal with the Travis County Commissioners and the Del Valley School District with a $68 million tax incentive package. Land clearing began immediately, prior to the formal announcement made by Tesla on July July 22nd during their Q2 earnings call. No time has been wasted as this site morphs and changes daily. It's mind-blowing how fast this process is going, and now Austin is beginning to catch up with Giga Berlin construction. You'll just have to stay tuned to these updates to find out who wins. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that update video of the Texas Gigafactory site. If you want to see daily updates and drone flyovers of this site, please subscribe to my channel at the link in the description below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time, and now you know.
That was awesome. Be sure to check out Jeff Roberts' channel. It's jam-packed. Every single day, he goes and does a drone footage.
I know.
Every single day, he goes and drives to the Gigafactory and flies his drone.
That's
so we
so
get
cool.
every single day. We haven't missed a single day so far, as far as I can tell.
I know where every grain of sand is on that site.
I know. It's amazing.
And Jerome Guillen, who's Tesla's president of automotive, says Giga Texas is happening full speed. Lots of job openings. Matt Burkholder, who's the director of global supply management, is a great leader and is looking for supply chain experts for large-scale construction. Please apply if you're interested, feel qualified, and want to embrace the project of a lifetime. So they're looking for 40 new job openings.
We also learned that Tesla bought this 2,100-acre parcel of land from Martin Marietta for $97 million.
Tesla Time News is sponsored by Cybertruck Owners Club. There you'll find a crowdsourced reservation tracker that you can update and find your place in line.
Check out their website for Cybertruck news, discussions, and community for Cybertruck enthusiasts and future owners.
And there's a 3D configurator allowing you to visualize the Cybertruck in any color, wrap, and logo, both on screen and in augmented reality. All right, so the German rental company Next Move has completed a Tesla sexy check, as they're calling it.
What's a sexy check?
Well, they drove performance versions of Model S, Model 3, Model X, and Model Y on the Autobahn in Germany at high speeds.
How fast?
130 kilometers an hour or 80 miles an hour, and they determined their energy consumption. So they have a fun video showing their test on their YouTube channel. We'll put that link down below if you want to check it out. But here's what they found, basically. Check out this chart.
Wow. So, I mean, the Model Y is pretty darn efficient.
Yeah, kind of surprising, isn't it?
Yeah.
Next Move's managing director, Stefan Muller, said the competition from Volkswagen, BMW, Polestar, or Lucid will have to measure up to the motorway ranges of 371 kilometers, or 230 miles for the Model Y, to 457 kilometers, or 284 miles for the Model S. So I just want to stop there for a second. And normally when we're talking ranges, we're talking EPA-rated range, which generally doesn't test at these speeds, these 80 miles an hour speed. Yeah, because let's talk about drag for a second.
Right. So there is an equation for drag, like the actual drag force. And the more force of drag that you have applied to you as you're traveling forward, that's going to slow you down.
And I always kind of confused the coefficient of drag, which for Teslas is very low, 0.23 for the Model Y and 3, for instance, where I was like, oh, okay, so it's the same for both cars. And yes, the coefficient of drag is the same, but the cross-sectional area of the car, what's facing the wind, is bigger for the Model Y.
So you can kind of imagine this as if you had a light way behind the car and it was shining towards you, that silhouette of the car, that is the cross-sectional area.
So because the Model Y is bigger, you would expect it to have a lot less range because it would be having to cut through the air a lot harder than, say, a Model 3.
Right.
But what's amazing here, according to that chart and according to this mileage, is that it's still amazingly efficient.
Right. I mean, if you take a look at this chart, and I made a separate version of it here, you can see that the Model Y is just a little bit less efficient than the Model S. And then if you look at the Model X, you'll see that it looks way less efficient. But the crazy thing here is if you kind of imagined that the Model 3 was a smaller version of the Model S, and so you see that slight increase in efficiency, and then you kind of were thinking to yourself, okay, so that same kind of step would apply to the Model X. The Model Y would be a slightly more efficient version of the Model X. You'd get a graph that would look like this. But that isn't what happened. We got this really, really great efficiency for the Model Y. I'm very, very excited by it because it really shows how smart Tesla has been with designing their newer vehicles.
In a recent FCC filing for a new smartwatch, the Norwegian company Xplora Technologies listed Tesla as being involved in the project.
Why would Tesla be involved in making a smartwatch?
Well, here's pure conjecture here, but what if Tesla is buying the company to make a smartwatch that would integrate with their cars? Maybe, or maybe they just want to get into the smartwatch business.
I mean, I can't see why they'd want to. I mean, so for right now, like if you buy an Apple Watch It's not the iWatch, the Apple Watch. You can't use it as a fob for your car because the Bluetooth on the Apple Watch will only work with Apple devices.
Oh, see? I mean, this backs up my argument here that maybe this is what they're doing.
So there is an advantage there. It would also give you a lot more potential security. So if you had the smartwatch and your smartphone, you could have it so that way you'd need both to unlock the car. So if someone had stolen your smartwatch or someone had stolen your smartphone, they wouldn't be able to steal your car because it would go, the smartwatch is not there. You cannot drive that car. I will not unlock. And maybe even if you don't have your smartphone or if it died or something, you could type in a PIN code, but you wouldn't have to type in the PIN code if you had both devices charged and ready to go.
Why don't Teslas talk? I would love to have different talk packages, you know? You could have Elon talking to you.
Or famous celebrities.
Right.
Hey, man, back away from the car. You are being recorded. Look out.
Not so easy being green. Don't get any closer. I'm recording you. If you mess up the car, we'll find you. We'll get you.
I don't think Kermit really works for scaring people. He's good for telling you about directions, but like...
Yeah, I'd want like
animal.
Back away.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, you need someone louder. You need Emerald. Bam!
Yeah.
All right, did you hear this? It's been all over the media that TV personality Simon Cowell fell off his e-bike and he broke 3 vertebrae in his back. So I guess this means we'll have to stop riding our e-bikes.
Wait a minute. The picture you're showing of Cowell on an e-bike, that's not the e-bike that he was riding when he fell off.
It wasn't?
No. It was this e-bike, the $20,000 Swind EB01 e-bike that can hit speeds of 60 miles an hour.
That e-bike has a 15 kilowatt motor. That's about 60 times more powerful than the average e-bike.
Yeah. In the US, e-bikes are limited to motors of up to 750 watts.
But this one has 15,000 watts.
15,000 watts. So yeah, when you hear people say like,
Oh, did you hear what happened to Simon Cowell? We should ban e-bikes because they're dangerous. You're going to break your back.
you have to say that he was basically riding a motorcycle.
Yeah.
That would be it. I'm sorry. That's not an e-bike to me. It might have pedals.
Yeah, and I'm sorry this happened to him, but he did this in his own driveway. There weren't other, like, he didn't avoid something. And he admitted that he didn't read the directions first.
And I'm sorry, you have to pick the bike that fits you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything about Simon Cowell, but you're not Tony Hawk.
Right.
Who I think they're roughly the same age. Tony Hawk can do that because he's been doing that his whole life, right? He's been doing dangerous stuff with dangerous things. I think he would be careful.
I feel like he got on the bike and was like, I wonder what this does.
Can do. Whoa, bam! Obviously, I mean, so yeah, I'm really mad that all the news agencies picked this up as an e-bike.
Don't you need a license for this?
Now, I'm not saying that these things should be illegal. I think that, there should be people who can ride these things and that they should be classified as something other than your typical e-bike.
Yeah. I mean, it has pedals, but that's kind of where it ends.
It's an e-motorcycle.
Yeah.
So if you hear people talking about this story and they go, e-bikes are bad, head over to the Now You Know Clips channel and subscribe. And this will be one of the stories that you can send out as a little clip. So that way when people go,
Oh, did you hear about Simon Cowell who broke his back?
you can be like, no, that's not what happened. Here, let me just send you a quick thing that you'll watch.
All right, remember last week we reported on the new GM Lyriq all-electric SUV that'll be coming out in 2022.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that we didn't know about it yet was the price. And the price is... We don't know what the price is.
Well, I think we got our answer. Steve Carlisle is the president of General Motors North America, and he said, we need to be in the same price zone. This car will need to be priced similar to how the industry prices mid-size luxury SUVs today, maybe a slight premium at the outset. It's a price that won't be high 5 digits, it won't start with a 7, and it won't start with a 6.
Wait, how much does it cost?
It's time to play Wait, How Much Does It Cost? Our first contestant is Jesse, a YouTuber from Massachusetts. Welcome, Jesse. It says here that in your spare time you like apple picking and going fishing.
What, I'm on a game show all of a sudden?
What's he playing for, Phil?
Well, Jesse will be playing for a new car, the 2022 GM Lyriq all-electric luxury SUV.
Okay, Jesse, are you ready to play?
Play? No, what? I just...
Okay, let's put 10 seconds on the clock. Here's your clue again. It's a price that won't be high 5 digits, it won't start with a 7, and it won't start with a 6. Okay, the clock is ticking, Jesse. What's your answer?
I have 10 seconds? No, I thought you were going to tell
6
me.
6 seconds on the clock.
No, I don't know how much...
3 seconds.
That's complicated. All right.
Oh, sorry, your time is up. The answer was the GM Lyriq will start at less than $60,000.
Why didn't they just say that?
What would be the fun in that? It's much more fun to play. Wait, how much does it cost? But don't worry, we're not going to send you home empty-handed. Phil, please tell Jesse what he's getting as a consolation prize.
Well, Jesse, for being such a good sport, you're going home with a year's supply of motor oil.
But I don't even own a car that can use that. So, okay, wait. So it doesn't start with a 6, doesn't start with a 7. I'm still lost. Doesn't start with a 6, doesn't start with a 7.
You can't play the game show again. Sorry.
Can it start with an 8?
It could, but it said not high digits. I don't know. Is 8 a high digit?
I don't know. It
Is
seems like
9 a high digit?
It seems like that's an easy loophole that you could throw in there.
Later they could be like, oh, we meant 80,000. I don't know. Why are they playing a game about it? Why not just say what you want the price to be?
They also said it's not going to be high 5 digits. It could be 6 digits.
It could be. I think it was they didn't want to plant a number in your head, so you wouldn't actually be able to start like thinking about it. Wow. I don't know why they do that.
It's just so weird.
It's 2022. It's probably not even going to come out then.
No.
All right, so check this out. We just learned that Tesla has another patent on autonomous driving. It's called Autonomous and User-Controlled Vehicle Summon to a Target. It was filed on February 11th, 2019, and the patent was published on August 13th, which is why we know about it. And Elon is listed as one of the inventors.
He said, I generally try to do my best to not be on patents.
And just as a reminder here, Elon has been on some previous patents of Tesla's. He was on the Model X door and the Model X body styling. He's also on the Tesla charging inlet patent.
I like the charging inlets.
So then, in response to a Teslarati article about the progress of 3D labeling for full self-driving, Elon tweeted, "This is important." Now, why is it important?
Basically, the biggest trouble that Tesla has now is they have about 1 million cars on the road collecting data with multiple cameras at the same time, and you're trying to train a neural net to see the world as the world.
Wait, so like they have people who are like, that's a cow, that's a dog, that's a deer.
Right. You have to imagine that this neural net is like a newborn baby. It doesn't understand anything. And instead of being able to like experience life and stuff like that, you have to like just tell it things because that's the only way that it learns.
Well, I mean, that's right. That's how babies learn. In fact, most of a parent's job for years is to be like, that's a big red dog.
That's a cow. What does the cow say? It goes moo.
Right. And you have to repeat it over and over and over again.
It's true. And so the problem is you have to have people entering in that data. But what if you could train a neural net to train a neural net? Train a neural net to do the labeling, and then it can train the neural net to learn what everything is in the world. So that way, when it's driving down the street, it knows that that's a fire truck and not a big red dog.
That's going to be incredible when that happens.
Yes. So cool. They actually patented Summon.
Yeah, Smart Summon was sent out to the fleet in September of 2019, and it was used over 550,000 times in just the first few days. Remember this video you made where you actually tested it out?
Yeah, and I mean, that's how I drive around all the time.
Yeah, you said you're never going to drive again. So you just sit in the back seat and...
Why would I drive if my car can drive for me?
But I have a serious question here.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that this was like a patentable thing. I don't know why I didn't. But now that it's patented, doesn't this mean that other auto manufacturers aren't going to be able to use it without licensing it from Tesla?
Potentially.
I mean, because I saw that on the GM Lyriq, they actually said that in 2022 when it comes out, it was going to have this feature.
Yeah, in 2 years. But I don't think that they're going to come out with it in 2 years. And
but I'm just saying,
if they did, I don't think it's going to have the feature. So I don't think it's going to be that big a problem. Because I mean, patents do have like a lifespan, and I know that they had to patent it now because otherwise another company would patent it before them. But I don't think that it's going to really help them because I don't think most of these car companies are actually going to be using Summon or have the capability to use Summon for quite some time.
I'm just saying, though, that basically this could mean that Tesla will be the only auto manufacturer with these features.
Yeah.
All right, so we met up with CTO of Franklin Robotics, Joe Jones, and we met Tertill.
Tertill is a little solar-powered electric garden robot that autonomously kills weeds in your garden.
Yeah, Joe was one of the first engineers who invented the Roomba for iRobot, so he knows his stuff when it comes to reliable little robots.
And I love how this can make a very organic, hassle-free garden happen. Because normally, if anyone's ever gardened before, you either did a lot of weeding or you didn't have a very good garden.
Right. Or a lot of people take that middle ground where they spray a lot of Roundup on everything, which is the worst thing you can do. So this little guy goes around without you having to talk to it or do anything, and he just weeds your garden.
For the whole season. You don't have to charge it because it's charged by the sun. It's really, really smart.
And I kind of didn't believe it when I heard about it because I thought, okay, that's too good to be true. So we actually went and checked it out with Joe, and you can see our full interview and review of it here in this video. So Corvette trademarked the E-Ray.
The E-Ray? I mean, I know that there's the gas-powered Stingray. They even had the Mako Shark. But I mean, the E-Ray? I mean, what about like the electric eel?
People don't like eels.
Okay, what about the black ghost knife fish? It also has electric capabilities.
The knife fish?
The knife fish. That sounds way cooler than even the Stingray. I mean, I just want to say, the E-Ray, like putting E in front of everything, I don't like it. I don't like, oh, we made it the E Kona. Whoa, we made the E this. Oh, we made the E that. It's just like the regular thing, but it's E.
Yeah, and that's kind of a good point because, I mean, GM's pretty good at trademarking things, but in terms of like the drivetrain, they're probably just going to get that from Genovation. Remember, that's the company that's making the electric Corvette.
Exactly. They've been perfecting that electric Vette for some time. I still, though, the E-Ray, it sounds like some guy's Hotmail account.
That's E-Ray, no space, at hotmail.com.
Or it's something that like a knockoff Superman needs to worry about. Like, oh no, the E-Ray beams are weakening my Giga strength.
Oh, so you're Giga Man? That's your knockoff Superman?
Sure. Kind of sounds cool, right?
Everybody likes
the
E-Ray.
E-Ray? I mean, I get it. It's an electric Stingray, but knife fish.
All right, your vote is in for
knife fish.
Comment down below if what you think it should be called.
Make it your own thing. Don't just choose one of our two things. So the other day, I was going through our correspondence with all of our lovely patrons, and someone shared us this video. It's called The Breaking Point.
Oh, yeah.
And it was made by a high school student named Owen. And I was watching it, and I was like, I know where that is. And so I was like, this is like 30 miles from where we live.
Yeah, and I started watching it with you, and it turns out to be one of the best documentaries I've seen in a long time.
So we actually reached out to Owen to interview him about his documentary. I highly encourage that you go watch his documentary. We'll put the link down in the description below. And on Patreon bonus stories, we're actually going to be interviewing him of where he came up with the idea and lots of other fun questions.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, if you want to go see his documentary, you're going to see some Tesla police cars.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was super inspired by Owen because he talked about wanting to get solar on the roof of his school. And he needed to bring in an advisor, someone who knew about getting solar, because basically the people at his school were like, yeah, Owen, we'd love to do it, but we don't know how to do it. Well, the people at EnergyPal, they know how to get solar on things. So if you're sitting around your house right now and you're like, yeah, I kind of would like to get solar on my house, but I don't even know where to begin. Reach out to the folks at EnergyPal. They will walk you through all of your questions, answer everything you need, and they won't pressure you. And best part, they don't cost you anything.
Right. They'll get the whole system pretty much ready to go. They'll be helping you interface with all of the different solar companies. And then when you're ready to go, they'll help you through the entire process. And again, you don't pay them.
You'll find their link in the show notes down below, and let them know that Zach and Jesse sent you.
So it looks like China is finally beginning to see an uptick in auto sales.
Yeah, the pandemic pulled down auto sales throughout China in the first half of the year, but now July numbers are in from the China Association of Automobile Manufacturers, and China sold 2.2 million cars in July, a year-over-year increase of 16.4%.
So how did Tesla do?
Well, Tesla sold 11,014 Chinese-made Model 3s in July, which is down from the 14,000 they sold in June, but usually Tesla has a sales boost at the end of each quarter, so that's probably why June numbers are so high. Mm-hmm. And to put the 11,000 in perspective, that's more than the next 3 best-selling electric vehicles in China combined.
So, I mean, there was all this talk about, Tesla isn't going to be competitive in China. There's all of this competition. And if you look at the competition, there's NIO, there's BYD, there's a couple other...
XPeng and a few others.
Other companies.
But I mean, they just sell tiny fractions compared to this. And I just want to point out, we're just talking about the Model 3. Model Y hasn't come out yet.
Exactly. And better than the next top 3. That tells you a lot.
Yeah.
So Hyundai just announced that the Ioniq will now be a sub-brand for Hyundai.
Oh, great. So more hydrogen cars.
Well, actually, no. Ioniq is going to be its battery electric vehicle lineup.
No. The Ioniq is a hydrogen fuel cell car.
Right. No. Now it's a hydrogen fuel cell car, but it's also a sub-brand for Hyundai That'll be its BEVs.
But Hyundai made the Ioniq.
Yes, and they like the name so much that that is going to become their sub-brand.
But it's not going to make hydrogen?
No. They're not going to use hydrogen. They're going to be batteries.
So, wait a minute. So, for years, they worked on this brand, Ioniq, which now is in my brain as hydrogen fuel cell car.
Well, and the funny thing is, too, the Ioniq, the car, not the sub-brand, the car Ioniq came in plug-in hybrid, fuel cell, and a full electric.
I didn't even know that.
Right, because it was only sold in California because it was a compliance car.
So now it's just a sub-brand that's just going to sell...
No. Now they're also still selling the Ioniq, the car, and they're going to be making the Ioniq 5, 6, and 7.
How many?
No, they're going to be making the car, the Ioniq 5, the Ioniq 6, and the Ioniq 7. Okay, so the Ioniq 5 will be the first of 3. It'll be a mid-sized crossover EV.
You just said it's the 5th car.
No, it's Ioniq 5. That's the name of the car.
Oh.
It is going to be based on the Hyundai 45 concept. It's slated to come out in early 2021.
You just said the number 3 and you said the number 45. I'm so confused.
So
What?
this is the Ioniq 5.
Yeah.
Mid-size crossover.
There's going to be 3 of them.
Ioniq 6 will be a sedan. It's based on the Prophecy concept. And the Ioniq 6 will be debuted in 2022.
Now, by debut, do you mean we'll get to actually buy it then? Or that's just when we see it?
That's when they're going to debut it.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Next will be the Ioniq 7 SUV. It will be the largest of the first EV trifecta under the new sub-brand and will come out by early 2024. Sorry, that was from Hyundai. I shouldn't have said it like that. It's confusing. It's going to be an SUV.
Got it.
Ioniq 7.
2024.
It's going to be an SUV. And
Gotcha.
That's all we really know about it. And so basically the odd numbers are for the SUVs and the even numbers are for the sedans. That's the...
Oh, that's
See,
good.
there's...
Now I get it.
You get it? Now, I think that this is pretty smart to have a sub-brand. I think that Ioniq is a pretty good name, even for...
I do not. I am against names that end in the damn Q. What the hell is going on, marketing people? Lyriq with the Q, Ioniq with the Q.
You gotta keep it cool with a K. You gotta keep it... loose with a Z, you got to keep it...
Loose with a Z?
Yeah, LOOZ.
That's lose.
Oh, man, we really should have grouped that one a little bit better. I don't know. I think Ioniq is a pretty strong name, but obviously it's not like they built a strong brand with the Ioniq because most people haven't even heard of it.
Proof is in the car. Gonna have to wait.
We're going to have to see how it goes.
All right, so yesterday, 12 of the best one-wheel riders raced against each other in the one-wheel Race for the Rail.
So for those of you out there wondering what the heck a Onewheel is, it is the self-balancing battery electric scooter with one big wheel in the middle that can go up to 30 kilometers an hour or 19 miles an hour, and it's made in California.
So the race took place yesterday at an undisclosed Utah ski resort, and the winner took home over $10,000. Now, the cool thing was there were 3 different courses, all of which were a surprise to the riders.
Now, I think this is great. I think that we need more sports that use e-mobility.
Also, more sports that go through sheets of sheetrock at the beginning.
Woo!
Yeah!
Yeah. But again, e-mobility
is awesome.
This is these are brand new ways of getting around.
Yeah.
Of course, there should be sports for them.
Also, they're really good for hospitals in the nearby area because you're definitely going to break something.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
All right, it's time for our video contributor stories. And just a reminder, if you'd like to submit one to us, feel free. Shoot something in landscape, 2 minutes or less, no music, really good audio. This is what it should look like.
Hi Zach and Jesse, it's Colin here in the UK again, and I have come to a farm in Somerset in the west of England to visit a friend of mine called Ben, who has for the last few months been converting a quad bike from ice to electric, and here he is, and here it is.
Hey.
So Ben, how did you get started with this project?
So I've always been interested in electric vehicles for a couple of years now. So yeah, this is like an impulse purchase on like a Sunday morning because it's an absolute wreck when I got it. So I spent a good 6 months repairing it and another like 6 months to a year doing this conversion. So that was interesting. I had to teach myself CAD, which helped a lot, and then I got a 3D printer which helped with the prototyping. But yeah, that was the trickiest bit.
So are you planning to sell this, or what's next?
The original idea was to make a bike and convert it and sell it. But like halfway through, I figured, well, actually, we'd be better off to offer a conversion service. So if you have an old quad bike and you want an electric one, and I can convert it for you. So that's the current offering is quad bike conversions. But I think I really want to do is look into electric tractor conversions. It's a bit of a jump in terms of power output. What I currently have at the moment is a little MG. This is a test bed, so it's for testing the technology that I think will then be useful in electric tractors.
So the next project is a sports car.
Yep.
But as a stepping stone to agricultural vehicles.
Yeah, agricultural vehicles, yeah, and of all sorts of sizes. Quad bikes, they're more or less as this is, like the current technology is fine, so you could use this every day on the farm. But I think for like the tractors, you'll be like a little farm scraper, the small hauler, that sort of stuff. Like community farms, because they want a quiet, small tractor and no maintenance.
So you've set up a company?
Yeah, so we set up Somerset EV. Yeah, we set that up about a year or so ago when I realised that this is a potential business opportunity, a bit of a niche to explore.
Great, so can I have a go? Right, see you later.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're in the UK right now and you're thinking about buying an electric tractor, head on over to Somerset EV. Maybe he can make you one. All right, it's time for the Patreon bonus stories. And if you've been watching for a while and you're like, I hear you talking about this all the time, I don't know where to go, I don't know what you're talking about, the link is down in the show notes below, or you can go to patreon.com/nowyouknow. And for as little as $1 a month, you can watch all of our bonus stories. And this week, Jesse, how many stories do we have?
We have 10 stories on there.
10 stories. Yeah, so we're about to spend 45 minutes or an hour with more stories that you can get over at Patreon.
Yeah.
See you there. All right, we're back from our Patreon bonus stories. 10 stories for $1.
Yeah, and I think it was longer than 45 minutes.
Probably.
I just have an inkling.
Our windows are covered here, so we don't know. All right,
we don't know what time of day it is at all.
We try not to. All right, it's time for our Patreon shout-outs, though. Who do we got, Jess?
We have Abraham Gonzalez Roman,
Nimal Ratnayake, PL.
Harkins Aquatics,
Ian Sear.
Donald Densuik,
An American Engineer.
Don Harley,
Ovid Pope.
Steve Amaro,
Michael Gao.
Mark Roberts,
Sylvia Fuentes.
Jim Thomas,
and John Backstrom.
Thank you so much for supporting this channel. We can't do it without you.
All right, buckle up. It's time for Elon's tweets of the week, and he's been a busy boy. Here we go. Elon said SN 5 and 6 at Starship Production Complex in Texas. And then Elon said SN 7 will be new alloy test tank taken to burst pressure. SN 8 will have body flaps and nose cone.
Okay, wait, stop. Did you see the picture?
I did see
those are rockets.
Oh, yeah.
He's building
He's just churning them out. Just, here's one, here's another one.
Insane.
And then Teslarati had a story here about SpaceX is returning their 5th flight, Falcon 9, and Elon said a little toastier each flight. And then Teslarati had a story about SpaceX working to hire a spaceport resort developer for its Texas rocket factory. And Elon said,
aiming to make it super fun. So there's going to be a spaceport resort?
Why not?
So I guess you get to put this on your resume, the only spaceport resort designer in the world.
I think we should have a Patreon poll this week.
Okay.
It should ask what should be at the spaceport resort.
Oh, right. I mean, what kind of amenities would match up with a spaceport resort?
Yeah, so head on over to Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, you can join our perk level where you can answer our Patreon polls every week. All right, so Teslarati had another article where they revealed that Tesla's lawsuit defendant Martin Tripp fired his lawyers after Tesla short financing was revealed. And Elon said,
no surprise.
Then Tim Fernhold said, much of this newsletter is sealed to protect the competitive secrets of SpaceX and the other bidders, but redacted filings give us a clue about what Musk and the company are upset about. And Elon said,
efficiently reusable rockets are all that matter for making life multiplanetary and space power. Because their rockets are not reusable, it will become obvious over time that ULA is a complete waste of taxpayer money.
And he kept going on to say, nobody would suggest buying airplanes that only fly once and then crash into the ocean. That would be absurd. So why is this madness acceptable for Boeing Lockheed rockets?
Wow.
Shots fired there, Elon.
Fired.
And then Ken Kirkland said, here's a graphic I made of America's fairings. Looks like we're going to be bringing some big stuff to space and the moon. And Elon said, Starship fairing will actually have more height than shown here. Dome will be flatter and more of the tip is accessible. Usable volume will be about 1,000 cubic meters.
You can see it's already big. It's already the biggest fairing there.
Then Elon retweeted the head of NASA's Jim Bridenstine's tweet about the upcoming scheduled launch of Crew Dragon's first operational mission with 4 astronauts. Sounds like it's going to happen in late October. Then Victor said, what do you think about the GPT-3 results? Remember, that's the AI program. And then Elon said, the rate of improvement from the original GPT to GPT-3 is impressive. If this rate of improvement continues, GPT-5 or 6 could be indistinguishable from the smartest humans. Just my opinion, not an endorsement. I left OpenAI 2 or 3 years ago. Am a neutral outsider at this point. Well,
smarter than the smartest humans on Earth.
That's a little scary.
A little scary because then it gets smarter than all the smartest humans on Earth put together. You're in trouble.
We're going to need some Neuralink updates.
Some Neuralink. Oh, the good news is Viv tweeted out huge Neuralink update in less than 2 weeks. And Elon said, it'll blow your mind. I can't believe in the same sentence that he's saying like, yeah, we're going to be making the most groundbreaking stuff in neurological science. And then he makes a dad joke. It's just, wow.
And then Tiger Duck said, Dojo will be the most valuable asset for Tesla one day. If you're putting together a VTOL team, I'll help you get it off the ground. And Elon said, I want to do electric VTOL supersonic so bad, but my brain will overload.
Yeah, I mean, Elon's kind of a busy guy. He's kind of working. He's got a lot going on.
Couldn't he stop tweeting for 15 minutes a week? Wouldn't that be enough time to start the company?
I don't think so. All right, but he was also talking about Dojo. What are we talking about Dojo for?
Well, Pranay tweeted this out. Elon, has Dojo improved to a point where we can call it self-supervised? As nothing can be perfectly 100% self-supervised, maybe semi-self-supervised, as still some work is human-created? And Elon said, Dojo is still being built, maybe a year or so from version 1. Then Tesla owner Silicon Valley said, is there a ton more work ahead or just fine-tuning? And Elon said, a lot of work remains. Technically, we have it working in sim with FPGAs at 0.01% capability. This will be a true supercomputer. So this is the computer that's going to be labeling everything, right? And it's a supercomputer. And he said they're only at 0.01%. So they got a ways to go. But then he said they're only a year away from having it at version 1.
Right.
This is mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing the speed at which they get to work at. Yeah.
Then Viv said, what's your estimate on regulatory approval for full self-driving? How soon is that going to happen after feature-complete FSD rolls out to the Tesla fleet?
Elon said, this is out of our hands. So hard to predict. Maybe on the order of 10 billion kilometers of real-world driving will be enough to convince regulators.
All right, so is that a long time?
So there's about 1 million Tesla cars with the hardware for it. And then each car going
10,000 miles a year
minimum, that would be a year. So
that's not that long.
That's not that long.
Then Elon said something he said before, we must pass the great filter. And Mira said, will we notice it when we do?
Elon said, yes, probably more accurate to say great filters, plural.
Then Sedge said, humans in 2020, why are there no aliens? Humans at some point in the future, as civilization reaches an inevitable destruction. Oh, that's why.
And Elon said, very real possibility. I think this is the one, I think that Elon has chosen this as his meaning of life.
The great filter.
Passing the great filter. Basically, the theory goes, we don't see any aliens because they all get wiped out before we get to see them.
So does that mean if we make it through the great filter that we would be like one of a kind?
We'd be special. And the universe would give us a gold star.
Yes!
That's all we want.
All right, it's time for Community Mail Time. Community Mail Time. We shared Landry's note last week about New Jersey residents being able to get up to $5,000 off a new EV. Well, here is Landry and his son and his new Model Y ride with 19-inch wheels from T-Sportline.
Congratulations, Landry. Wow, what a beautiful car. Our friend Guliman from Germany shot us this.
Just a quick shout out to the guys of the Deutsche Post in Germany. They are doing these e-mobiles. I don't know even how to call them, and it's just a shame they went bankrupt. So that's one of the last ones driving around in Dengdorf, Lower Bavaria, Germany. Now you know.
Wait, so that company went out of business?
Apparently. I didn't even realize that.
Oh.
Our friends Marianne and Rachel went down to the Tesla Terra factory to see all the construction that was going on. Look at this.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. This is Marianne and
Rachel.
We've been watching your show since about episode 6, maybe 7. And guess where we are? We are at the Tesla Terra factory in Austin. Right off of the freeway.
They are well into the great breaking of the ground.
Oh yes, most definitely.
And by the way, it's a Saturday and they are going to town. Trucks are driving by the dozen.
Yep. The guy just waved at us. The real estate market on the east side of Austin seems very promising. My brother-in-law was saying that it's a very hot market. All right, now you know.
Now, I think that this is awesome that there's so many people going to visit the Tesla Gigafactory in Austin. I think that there should be this like tall cafe that you can go to watch the construction. Because a lot of people want to go see it, and right now you have to like park on the side of a very busy street. It's a construction zone.
That's a great idea.
Big tall cafe. You get
Terra
to see all
Cafe.
Yeah.
You want to sit on the terrace?
Wow. And then our friend Gaffa in Australia got this nice message put right on his car. Basically, this person's kid pressured them into buying a Model 3 because the kid kept seeing Gaffa's car, learned what the Model 3 was, and convinced their parents to get it.
I love kids.
And so basically, in exchange for a test ride, they'd be willing to use his referral code.
Kids are the best.
Kids,
you know why?
Kids really understand electric cars because electric cars actually make sense.
Kids can just keep doing this. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Why?
Well, because...
Why?
But
Tesla. Buy a Tesla.
Right, because when you keep asking why, gas cars don't make any sense.
No. Our buddy Khan had Tesla Mobile Service come out and wrap this acoustic blanket around his heat pump in his Model Y to make it quieter. This is a free mobile service request from Tesla, so if you have an early Model Y and your heat pump is making too much noise, give him a call. He said it made a big difference in terms of noise.
And our friend Michael in Netherlands spotted a Honda E on the A1 highway from Amsterdam to Amersfoort.
All right, so it's time for our Patreon poll. What was our Patreon poll question?
It was, what % of Tesla owners have never supercharged?
Oh, that's right. We asked last week. What percentage is it?
So 6.6% of Tesla owners have never supercharged their Teslas. I think this number has been getting lower over time as more superchargers have been putting in place.
Still kind of high, though.
6%?
Well, kind of. I mean,
but not really.
I understand if you've
93% of Tesla owners have used the Tesla supercharger network.
I don't know, but like if you've owned your car for only a week or two, I totally get it. But if you've owned it for longer than that, like I don't see why you wouldn't have been to one.
Because you just commute in it, and there's plenty of range.
Okay.
I mean, I sometimes have trouble running out of range in my car and needing to. Sometimes I go far away and I'm like, I pass a supercharger. I'm like, oh, should I charge? And I'm like, I don't need to charge. Great. I guess I'll just go and be on time. Fine.
All right, it's time for Supercharger Reviews, and these are sponsored by our friends at Evannex, the Tesla community's accessory store. Looking for awesome accessories for your Tesla? Check out Evannex and use our discount code NowYouKnow to save you $10 on purchases over $100.
Hey, Brent and Bobby. I'm in the Meyer parking lot at the Big Rapid Supercharger. It's 0.2 miles off 131. There's a Culver's and Ruby Tuesday nearby, with a Hampton Inn and Country Inn Suites. I'm still waiting for a supercharger in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. This is Martin. I'm in Orleans, Orléans in France, which is kind of the old version of New Orleans. And we're having 8 stalls here. One of them is broken, and there is like 2 Teslas waiting there and 3-4 more here. So we don't have enough charging stations at this moment. It's a holiday, so a lot of people on the move. There is a hotel though, the Ibis, and they have a nice restaurant where you can get a salad and pizza and stuff. So yeah, I would say we should go to version 3 here to solve this problem. So for now, I would give this a 6 out of 10 because of the version 2 and only 8 stalls, but good amenities and very close to the highway. So now you know. Thank you.
The Vienna, Virginia version 3 supercharger is a reclaimed site. It used to be a bank, I believe. It's now hosted by a Wawa. It's got 8 stalls.
There are several nearby options if you choose not to use the built-in deli and convenience store. As far as things to do are concerned, it's right outside DC. It's in Northern Virginia, stone's throw from Maryland. I'd like to revisit this with a local, but rest assured there are plenty of things to do nearby.
Yeah, hi, Zach and Jesse. It's Randy Jordan here. I'm at Perth, Ontario in the new Tesla Supercharger station. There's 8 version 3 stalls here. This just opened a couple weeks ago, and I'm just doing a little day trip with my girlfriend to take a visit. It's really convenient. It's on the main highway. It's in a little shopping plaza called the Perth Muse. There's Starbucks, the Subway. Way over in the distance is a Mark's Work Warehouse. There's a Dollarama. That's it. So now you know.
Thank you, folks, for sending in those supercharger reviews. And before we get to our new superchargers this week, we've got a new segment, I think. It seems to be very popular here.
The prettiest supercharger.
All right.
So it's a competition. So remember last week, we saw this one in Croatia.
Yes.
Beautiful supercharger.
This is going to be tough to beat.
Yes. So GAFA sent us in this one. It's the Berry supercharger on the south coast of New South Wales in Australia.
Ooh.
So I like the grass.
I like the grass.
I really do like that.
I don't know if it beats the Croatian one, though.
There's no water. That's tough.
Water's a tough one.
I mean, I like mountains
to beat.
And I like vineyards.
But I do like that you're parking on grass. That's kind of cool.
That's kind of cool. So I don't know. Send us in your prettiest superchargers. We've got.
Tell us down below if you think this one beats last week's.
Yeah.
But we got more coming. And yeah, if you have a new supercharger that you think is prettier,
you got to send it in.
Yeah. All right. So we got new superchargers this week. What do we got?
All right. Number 78 in France is the 8-stall version 3 supercharger in Les Herbiers, France.
And did you know that France has the 4th largest number of superchargers of any country?
Really? France?
Yeah. I didn't think that would be true.
It's
a huge country.
It's a big country.
Yeah.
You kind of forget that.
Number 18 in Mexico, 4-stall 250 kilowatt in Morelia, Mexico.
The 6-stall 150 kilowatt in Perry, Oklahoma.
And number 865 in the USA, number 1930 in the world is the 12-stall 72 kilowatt, so it's an urban, in San Francisco at Van Ness Avenue, but this is valet only with limited hours.
Ooh, excuse me.
So yeah, you might...
Minute would go to this one.
Excuse me, sir.
Oh,
would you valet my car?
Valet my car.
Thank you.
I haven't parked.
All right, it's time for the Patreon giveaway. We got a new poster. This is a Bobby design. I can't pick it up. Keep the sea plastic free.
All right, and the winner is...
We're going to sign this.
The winner is Alex Taylor. Congratulations, Alex. You have won this poster, which I will now sign the back of.
Because we're not front signers yet.
No.
What do you think, like 1 million subscribers, then we front sign it?
I don't know. We have to be pretty fancy, right? To be the front signer. We also have to picture of our faces on it or something. We have to be in a movie or something.
All right, let's be in a movie.
You'd think that this was close to a feature-length film. Every week? Every week?
Speaking of which, to do the show, you might have noticed on this week's show, having reporters is super important. It lets you see things from around the world, from different places, from different perspectives.
Right.
So we're looking actively for reporters, and we've already gotten like 6 people who all seem very good at this. So if you're thinking to yourself, maybe you have a YouTube channel and you're already kind of doing this and you're into sustainability and you're like, I'd love to get a story on your show. Great. Contact me at zach@nowyouknow.channel.com. Let me know about a little bit about yourself and I'll get in touch with you and we'll figure it out. And maybe you'll become a reporter so that you can let people know, like, what's going on,
right?
SpaceX or Tesla, all that cool stuff,
right? And hey, if you want to help us out on the show, you can support us on Patreon. All the names that you're seeing scroll past us here are our $5 and above patrons, people who help support this show every week and make sure that it comes out every week and that we have everything that we need covered. We're so grateful to have all of these people supporting us because the show could not come out. We recorded this, last night. We got as close to the up-to-date information as possible, and then we released it as soon as we could the next day.
All right, well, thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Now you know.